Hello, thank you for joining me. I'm Magnus Modestus, and once again, we're here with some Euro Truck Simulator 2. So I'm down in Devon, in Plymouth in fact, where I left off the last episode. And we're going to take... Ooh, we could go to France. Haven't been there yet. I think given how much that cost of that ferry price would eat into the pay for the job, I'm not sure I want to, although there's not a lot of driving involved. Well, let's do it. Let's go to France. Just a quick flit across the channel, and then we'll probably come back pretty soon. We'll see. We may stay out there for a good while yet. I don't really have a plan in that regard. I wasn't planning to go to the continent quite this soon. But the opportunity has presented itself. We're in Plymouth. The ferry port is just round the corner. So why not? Why not? Just hang a left here, and then it'll be a right at the next junction. Oh, somebody's been a bit naughty there. Nice to see the Devon and Cornwall police doing their job, even if only in the game. They are not the most hard-working police force in existence from my experience. In fact, only a week or two ago, I had to laugh because the local police had set up a sort of PR stand in the city centre, trying to improve their public image, right next to a donut shop, which is, you know, obvious connotations to be made there. So I did find that quite amusing. I mean, really, the police are perfectly entitled to like donuts if they want to like donuts. I quite like donuts myself. Besides which, you know, it's obviously a kind of a joke thing. This whole police liking donuts thing. It's a stereotype that's really quite meaningless. But you know, one would think when engaging in a PR mission of sorts, somebody at headquarters might think these things through when choosing a suitable location for their stand. So that sort of lack of forethought, of planning, I have to say, did amuse me somewhat. That was, in fact, Devon and Cornwall police. I've been wondering for a while about these little bus stations that are in quite prominent positions in a number of cities around the map in ETS2. They weren't there. Well, they're not there in the cities from the base game. And I don't think for the first couple of expansions either. But in the last few expansions, they've been very noticeable. Not least because they're just there, sort of empty. Seems a bizarre use of the space. And it's sort of made me wonder what the purpose of that is. Whether the devs are planning to release maybe some kind of coach simulator recycling the same map. Because I can't really think of much explanation otherwise. I think I did read a throwaway comment somewhere, whether it was on an online forum or in a magazine article, just a brief throwaway comment about their planned bus game, something along those lines. But that's all I've encountered on that subject. I've certainly heard nothing official about any such project. I would have thought a company of SCS's rather modest size probably have their hands full with both ATS and ETS2, especially as the rate of expansion for the map in ATS is, I mean, let's be honest, it's worryingly slow. It's the expansions they're producing are very good, and on the face of it, the rate at which they're producing them is absolutely fine. But you know, when you do the maths and you think, well, if they're releasing, you know, 3 map expansions a year, that's in a good year. It's probably more like 2 map expansions in a year. You know, how many years are you looking at before they have the entire United States? Never mind if we wanted to see Canada and Mexico as well. So, you know, presumably that's got to keep them pretty busy. So if they want to ever realise the obviously implied ambition of completing at least the contiguous US, they're going to need to pick up that pace. And also then, of course, there's the rebuild in ETS2, currently in Germany, which I think we have to assume will move on to the Benelux and the UK at a later time. In addition, of course, to the expansion projects that are always ongoing. So, for instance, currently awaiting the release of, or more news on the release of, the Iberian expansion. Long awaited. So I don't really see where, in among all that, they would have the time or the resources or the manpower available to put out a whole new game as well, even if they were to recycle the map. Although I suppose maybe recycling the map would be the key point that would allow them then to not require too many resources for it after all. If they already have the map, they already have the AI, they already have the vehicle models for the, you know, the AI traffic at the very least. They already have the interface, really, for, you know, the jobs interface and the sat nav and so on. So I guess they could actually then add in a couple of drivable coaches and some new job types and knock that one out fairly quickly. But as I say, if they are planning to do that, I've heard no indication from them about it, just the one throwaway comment from a third party. But maybe they have announced something and I've just completely missed it. So if that's the case, please do let me know. Or if anyone knows any more about that or has any further thoughts on it, don't hesitate to comment down below. I know there's already Fern Bus Simulator and Tourist Bus Simulator out there. So I'm not sure what their numbers are like, sales-wise, player-base-wise, but I know they're out there and couldn't exactly call them flops or failures. They certainly seem to have done well enough to be not only viable in and of themselves, but to make the genre seem rather viable. So would be interesting to see SES put out something to rival those. If that's the sort of thing that they want to do. Anyway, we're here in Brest now, in Brittany. It's a beautiful part of the world. I recommend it to anyone who hasn't already been, and I recommend it again to anyone who has. And this is our destination, so we will go and park up. I've done all of these park up jobbies so far, and I probably will for the foreseeable, but there may very well come a time in future where I can't really be bothered with them anymore. Quite honest, I mean, there's only so many yards, only so many challenges to be faced. So it does get a little bit stale, especially when you've been playing this game for as long as I have. I think I've parked up in all the yards many times. I doubt there's any challenge left untouched for me in that regard. I think the most challenging park up I've done, well, there have been a few, especially if you get pro mods and their expanded map. It's so they not only expanded the map, but they've put in a lot of custom places as well. You know, there's sort of new challenges that aren't in the base game, not in the vanilla game, and some of those are very, very interesting indeed. I mean, this one isn't exactly easy, but I'm not in any danger of failing it. It's just going to have to line it up a few times, that's all. But there's one in particular that stands out to me in Pro Mods that was, I think it was a Tesco car park in Wales, somewhere, I forget exactly where. But I looked at it and I thought, there is no way that I'm going to be able to park in that. And, you know, it was a challenge, it was a tight squeeze, there was sort of a wall in the way, there was another trailer in there, it was a very small, tight space. But I did manage it. It didn't take as long as I expected either. It was a lot easier in practice than it looked prima facie. Actually, I probably did it quicker than I'm doing this one, if I'm honest. But it was a good challenge, and it certainly would be nice. I think that obviously there are other things that are perhaps more important that the devs are quite rightly more inclined to focus their resources on. But it would be nice to see a few more varieties of challenge in this regard. Of course, with every expansion, they are releasing, new yards that haven't necessarily been seen before, and it's a lot less copy and paste now between ATS and ETS2 and with all the expansions added on than it used to be. And so there are a greater range of challenges available now, but nonetheless, I think there will come a time where I may just take the quick option. So I think that'll do us for this episode. I'm not sure if we'll be heading back to the UK or further into the continent for the next one. We'll find out then, so do join me for that. If you've liked what you've seen, then please scroll down, put your thumbs up, subscribe, make a comment, whatever you like. Helps a lot. For now, I've been Magnus Modestus. This has been Euro Truck Simulator 2. Thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.